Hi everyone, my name is Nelson, and this video series is pretty much just me practicing interviewing skills as I have an interview coming up, and it also shows, I guess, the different responses to different questions that come up commonly during interviews. So first we'll ask some behavior questions that are typical to pretty much any interview. So whether you're interviewing for a job in valuations or in finance, these are very common questions that come up. After that, we will get into more technical questions and market-based questions that are more specific to sales and trading, which is one area that I'm currently focusing on right now. Hope you enjoy the video, and hopefully you can learn something, because I know that in making this video, I definitely learned a lot. Thank you and enjoy. Why sales and trading? The reason why I want to go into sales and trading is because with sales and trading, contrary to some other fields outside of finance, for me myself, I came from a mathematics background where a lot of things are theoretical. In sales and trading, it's all about practicality. The things that you do, the products that you sell, has immediate impact on the market and on the P&L, which is the profits and loss. So for example, a good trade results in a positive profit, and therefore you feel rewarded for that. And that's why I enjoy going into the trading side. So what attracts me to the sales side is, as I mentioned earlier, I came from a mathematics background. And with mathematics, it's very theoretical, whereas for for mathematics, there's also a lot of number crunching in the back room. Whereas for sales, you get that human interaction. The ability to communicate with a client, to express occasionally complex ideas to a non-technical audience. That requires exercising communication skills, requires listening to people, and understanding their needs and wants. And I feel that I would enjoy that kind of environment, and that's why I'm attracted to sales as well. As for the trading side and human interaction, even with trading, you have these complex trading ideas, and you want to communicate that to the salespeople, to other people in the firm, and these people may or may not be technical, and the ability to communicate that in both a technical way and a non-technical way, it's a good exercise of communication skills, and I believe that that's one of the things that attracts me to sales and trading. So to sum it off, it would be one, the impact on the world around me, and two, it's a high communication field. Why do you want to work in sales and trading? The reason why I want to work in sales and trading is because sales and trading, it's a dynamic, fast-paced environment that has immediate impact on the world around us. For me personally, I came from a mathematics background where it's a lot of number crunching, a lot of theory. And the reason why I wanted to switch into sales and trading is because for sales and trading, I enjoy having that immediate impact. I enjoy seeing that profit and loss, seeing the deal being made. Whether it's being successfully able to sell something or being able to make a trade and see the trade go well. By going well, it means making money. For sales and trading, there's a lot of human interaction that wasn't there in my prior career of mathematics. For example, for sales obviously requires a lot of communication skills. But the same thing can be said for trading, because when you're a trader, you also have to communicate those ideas, which can sometimes be complex, to a variety of audiences, from salespeople to management to other traders. And some of your audience can be very technical, such as other traders, where you want to communicate in a very technical fashion. And some of your audience could be someone not very technical, and therefore you want to communicate your trade ideas in a fashion where people from a non-technical background can still understand it. And I believe that I see communication as being one of my strong suits, and also being part of my personal brand, along with a strong quantitative analysis skill. And therefore, I believe that being able to exercise this brand allows me to place my talents and also contribute to the most of my ability. And that's why I enjoy sales and trading. One, having that immediate impact, and two, that communication, being able to use those communication skills that I enjoy so much. Thank you. Tell me about a time when you had to make a decision that was unpopular. I made such a decision during one of my prior internships at a central bank, and I was working in the web communications department. One of the things that I was working on was that since I was working on the IT side, the business side would communicate the requirements of what they want to the IT side, and the IT side would implement these business needs into actual software. And one day we got a requirement from the business side of a certain feature that we wanted on our website. And although as a programmer, I understand that that feature is easy to implement, it's actually not hard. But what I realized was that for websites, what's different from between a website and a standalone software package is a standalone software package run on a computer. It's pretty much one person using a computer at one time. You don't have maybe 30 people using a computer if it's a desktop computer or a laptop. But for a website, you could have hundreds, thousands, or tens of thousands of people accessing the website at the same time. And with that feature, it was very resource intensive. So while it would work well in a testing environment, when it became live, it would require a lot of server resources to process. And to implement that feature may require not having other features in the future because there's there's bottleneck on the processing power. Therefore, I communicate to upper management that not including this feature in there would be a good idea because it would allow us to put in more features that are maybe of a higher priority. And my manager thought about it, and he communicated with the business side. And although it wasn't popular because generally IT likes to pretty much fulfill what business side says, I realized that by following along while it may be just quote unquote doing my job, it won't be really giving the full benefit to the firm because it doesn't have that input. By giving that input, it allowed the business side and my manager to see both the advantages and disadvantages of adding a feature, and they can make a more informed decision on whether they really want that feature. And in the end, it was finally decided that that feature wasn't really worth the resource intensity of it, and therefore we decided not to use that feature. Thank you. So the question is, tell me about a time when you had to persuade someone. My answer would be, during one of my prior class projects, I was working in a group of 4 people, and some of the group members disagreed on how to answer a certain question. Since it was a timed assignment, I suggested that we move on with the project, and at the end, come back to the question when we had time. That way, at least we could finish the project and getting stuck on one question. The team agreed, and we ended up following my way and completing the project. Break, that's actually a really weak response. It shows hesitation, it shows that I had an idea which was valid, and it was a fairly obvious idea. So therefore, my group members should have known about it, and therefore convincing them to do that isn't that hard. It doesn't really show anything special on my part, and therefore I believe that answer was actually relatively weak. I will try to make a better response to that question right now. Tell me about a time when you had to persuade someone. During one of my prior experiences, I was working on these evaluation projects, these quarterly evaluation projects. And I had recently taken over the project. I looked at the way that was being done previously. I thought about, I guess, both in how valid has that prior methodology been, and also given that new information has come up, are there any changes required to this methodology? And what I found was that using several methods, evaluation methods, they were coming up with different indications than what was previously indicated. Now, keeping in mind that for methodologies, every method and every formula gives an indication, but it requires subjective judgment to understand what it means to interpret the results and to make a decision. So, although I had these indicators that was suggesting something different, I first thought about, are these indicators giving the right picture? And secondly, after I decided it was, I went to my manager and showed him the different methodology indications and suggested that given these indications and given the new information that we have, not saying that the prior methodology was wrong, but saying that with the new information that we have, maybe it's better to use the new methodology evaluation, which would result in a change of this much. The reason I said that was because it's important to give both the reasons for the change and also what's the impact of the change of any decision that we make. And in the end, the management team decided to go with that new methodology. and we updated it, and therefore that can be seen as a successful situation where I persuaded someone. Wow, that was actually pretty nerve-wracking. But even though it's myself coming up with these questions, and these are questions that I've answered before, sometimes when I'm just faced with the question, my mind just goes blank. And as you know, I've actually included some of the blooper reels from these videos, so you get to see my first answer and my second answer. And hopefully the second answer has improved. That's part of the reason why we're doing these practice runs, is because during an actual interview, if you answer a certain way and after the interview you decide that, oh no, I should answer a different way, it's too late. Whereas being able to practice in advance, you get to see both your initial response and also be able to analyze that response and move on from it and to learn from it, and therefore to give a better response afterwards. And by practicing before your interview, you get to hone your responses. So that when the actual interview day comes, your interview is much, much better. That's pretty much it for this video. This is part of several videos because each answer takes about 2-3 minutes. I'll separate this series into several videos. Hope you watch the rest of the series and have fun. Thanks.